So I was just reading about how in the recent Buzz Lightyear movie there was a lesbian kiss, and in a lot of countries that's still a little bit taboo. But I want to mention there was something that Lightyear did right, and it's going to be overlooked. That is, they didn't focus too much on the fact that Buzz didn't have a partner during the entire movie, which I really loved. Now, having said that, the first human to actually time travel, which I think will happen one day, relativistically, the first human to do that is likely going to be somebody who is more or less solosexual by heart, right? Unless they can bring somebody to the trip with them, which is probably going to be a can of worms too, because that person's probably going to have families. So the very first human to relativistically time travel is likely going to be a solosexual anyway, and I'm glad Disney acknowledged that. But there is another Disney movie that really hit me hard the first time I saw it, Toy Story 3. In Toy Story 3, Andy's toys got lost in the daycare center, and they got to meet lots of hugging bear, and they were treated very unfairly. They were beaten up by these younger kids, and then they got to watch these older kids treat the toys much more nicely in the other room where lots of hugging bear was and some of his friends. Now it kind of reminded, when I saw it, it reminded me of what I deal with at work constantly. I'm solosexual by heart, and a lot of people a lot of my colleagues, my boss, often just don't think that I have very important needs. And so, for example, I would take off to go view a lunar eclipse, to go to a computer Olympiad conference, and people would just still expect me to be available, or they would call me in on short notice. One of my coworkers was sick, you know, they had COVID kind of problems, or even before COVID, they had family matters. And I would answer the phone and be like, I'm sorry, I'm like hours away from the center. And they're, oh, but your colleague is really needing somebody to fill in. And come on, you got 6 hours to get here. And I would let my boss know, okay, but I'm 2 hours away, and you gotta understand, this is not exactly very convenient for me. I would show up, and he would forget that he called me all the way from when I was in Ellensburg or Vantage. I would fly back to make the session, and then he would tell me to go home after like 2 hours rather than do the whole 4-hour shift or 5-hour shift or whatever it was. And then I would see my colleagues. One of my coworkers actually just took some time off to go to her boyfriend's graduation, and everybody would treat it like a beautiful thing. So when I saw lots of hugging bear and how Buzz Lightyear was treated in that movie, it really hit me hard.